So I've had some of you ask me to make a video on Trials, why it got canceled, what I think about it. Guys, I saw this coming. I felt like it was going to be canceled for this season. It was canceled and Forsaken, and when I made a video saying that I didn't like this, the reason why I made that video was because I knew it was probably not going to come back after a season. I felt like this was a game type that could possibly never return to us in Destiny 2. Now let's take a trip down memory lane of what Trials is. Back in Destiny 1, there was a game mode called Trials of Osiris. Sure, many of you seen it, watched it maybe on Twitch, maybe even played it. Streamers blossomed overnight under it. Some who had never even streamed before finally worked up the courage to actually start streaming it, and it remained at the top of the list in the Twitch directory for years. So needless to say, yes, it was a very successful game mode. You can say whatever you want to say about the end of Trials toward year 3 in Destiny 1. Regardless, it served its purpose. Now fast forward to Destiny 2. It was renamed Trials of the Nine. It wasn't your normal 3v3 elimination game mode that was easy to comprehend and understand. Instead, we now had 2 revolving game modes that cycled out weekend to weekend. And it was now 4v4 underneath a sandbox that no one really liked, the double primary sandbox. Now, despite like the first few weeks or the first few months of Trials, I didn't really count it out. It wasn't until after the Osiris DLC that the Trials brand, to me, got tainted. You gotta understand, guys, Trials, even though it was called Trials of the Nine in Destiny 2, it was still Trials of Osiris to most of us, especially our veteran players. There is a ton of PvP players that never step in PvE, but they definitely know who Osiris is, and they pay attention to his lore. So when this DLC launched, expectations were definitely not met. Arguably one of the worst DLCs to ever hit Destiny, and the Trials brand suffered, alongside a number of things that were not going to be resolved anytime soon. Now, Trials still hung in there. It was still a game mode that was bringing players in every weekend, but definitely not pulling the numbers that it was pulling originally. Which takes us to Season 4 in Forsaken. Now, as you know, Season 4 launched, a lot of things changed. We didn't just go back to the Destiny 1 weapon system, we went even further with that. Special weapons can be rocked in our kinetic slots, as well as our energy slots. Random rolls were thrown back into the game, as well as a ton of exotics that are so powerful, which is why it got canceled in Season 4. Nothing exposes the meta better than Trials. It's because these exotics that are rolling out would have definitely broken that game mode. We see it in something like competitive. Obviously, there needs to be some things addressed, but Trials was canceled for that reason because yes, it exposes that meta way more, amplifies it, because people are fighting even harder to get those final wins. Now, Season 5 is upon us, and we've now been told that Trials will also be canceled for this season. And guys, I don't think it's coming back for Destiny 2. And here's why. 3 months from now, a game will be launching called Anthem. I've been tuning in for their live streams. I've been listening to their game director. I even tuned in for their customization the other day that they have on their exosuits. Guys, these guys are making a game that is truly trying to fulfill your power fantasy. I'm not saying it's a good game. Obviously, I haven't played it yet. I've signed up for the alpha. I'll be playing it next week. But Bungie has been making moves to not only improve their game, but to give you more of a reason to choose their power fantasy over Anthem's. Now, I've seen the Reddit threads, I've seen people talking about the balance in competitive, how broken it is, how broken One Eye Mask is, Telesto, things like matchmaking, Shards of Galanor, Blade Barrage in competitive. I get it. I know where you're coming from, but I hate to say this. Bungie took a gamble with the competitive community with Destiny 2. They took a gamble that the 4v4 game mode that they were doing for all game types, Trials, and this double primary system was gonna sell, was gonna ring in the numbers that Trials of Osiris originally brought in when it first launched. Unfortunately for Bungie, that was the wrong vision, and on top of that being the wrong vision, you had Fortnite that just launched as well, which is why every DLC that has dropped after Osiris, Warmind, Forsaken now, every one of those DLCs has been aiding that power fantasy, and Black Armory is now about to drop on us, and as you've seen, will be bringing us the most powerful weapons ever in Destiny history. And I think all of those things are to go head to head against the power fantasy that Anthem is bringing with their new IP. Is it wrong? Is it right? I don't know. I'm just giving you the why, which is why you haven't seen as many exotic reworks, which is why Ursa Furiosa has taken until now to be reworked. which is why you haven't seen Telesto be nerfed or moved to the power slots. There's a lot of things there, guys, that need to happen. One Eye Mask needs to be adjusted. I'm a Titan. I use it, but it needs to be adjusted. And I have solutions for those things to be adjusted, but understand, Bungie is looking at the long game, and in every update I've seen them do, it's just pointing more and more to preparation to go head-to-head against Anthem. Now, some of you saying, Anthem is a PvE game only. How is it ever going to compete against Destiny? You would be a fool to believe it won't sell. Look at Monster Hunter. Look how well it sold. Look at Warframe. I know Warframe has PvP, but obviously PvE in that game is the main attraction, which is also a very big attraction here in Destiny 2, which is why we haven't seen the power fantasy dialed back on many weapons and many armor pieces, and why something like Trials will not be brought back anytime soon. Because again, like I said, guys, it amplifies that. So guys, those are my thoughts on Trials. It's unfortunate that it was held off again, but like I said, I think most of us saw it coming. When it returns to us, I think it'll definitely be way after Anthem launches and after Bungie dukes it out with this power fantasy going on between these two games. So fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.
Good night.